Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes. I'm Sampy.
I'm Christy.
Let's talk about Married at First Sight. Hello, Christy. Are you ready to say farewell to San Diego?
Yeah, I would say so.
Wow.
It's been long. We've had enough episodes.
Yes, this is episode 20. Technically, the season is over, but we gotta see. Where are they now? Where are they now, Christy?
Well, we're a little, a couple weeks past the reunion taping, it seems.
Well, it said that it was 5 months. They've been married for 5 months.
Yeah, the reunion was about 5 months after.
Unbelievable.
The timeline is confusing.
And here I thought it was a bunch of extra time. I got bamboozled. Unbelievable.
I mean, it was probably 2 or 3 weeks, something like that.
Okay, well, 5 months after the process started. Yeah, so Miguel and Lindy are still married. That's great.
Yep, retaking some wedding photos.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learn Lindy wants to start house shopping.
Yeah, I think being smushed together in an apartment just isn't her vibe. Especially, I would imagine. So Lindy seems to feel a lot more urgency than Miguel does about this, which I guess just makes sense given that she's the one living in his place. So he's just like, well, this is my place and it's wonderful and why would I want to move? And she's like, well, if you want to have some babies, we need more space.
Yeah, Miguel describes himself as more free floaty or leaf in the wind. That does not inspire confidence for Lindy.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see by the end of this episode if they have divorced because of this issue. We'll see if they've gained a little bit more extra stability than they normally had. Yeah, we'll get back to that. Don't you worry. But in the meantime, Kristen meets up with Alexis for some drinks. Tell me about that.
Well, they compare their DM stories since when this was filmed, enough of the season had aired, I guess, that people are sliding in.
Yep, that's very true. I mean, we had that confirmed by Kristen for herself during the reunion. I'm sure there are many men going, well, she gave Mitch a shot. I'm not worse than Mitch. Might as well.
Yep, shooting their shot.
Yeah, I guess from what I can tell, it seems like Kristen and Alexis are probably two of the closest people.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
We also learned Kristen is going to move to New York City.
Yeah, it's got a promotion, headed to the Big Apple, which is very exciting for her. I think there's some sadness for her leaving San Diego, but given that her family is on the East Coast and Mitch is not on the East Coast, it's gonna be a better time. What did you think about what Alexis had to say about her interactions with Justin?
She said Justin has called her for advice and also thanked her for regulating his emotions during the reunion. It just seems I didn't expect them to still be talking this much.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I mean, I got the impression, I'm trying to remember where this was, if it was in this conversation or not, but I thought she said she hadn't seen him at all since the reunion. It had just been like a couple phone calls and then nothing.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Ugh.
I mean, why would they? I mean, they're divorced, so.
Sometimes this is a little bit more complicated than that, Christy. Come on. Things are complicated when you get married at first sight and then divorce. It's just how it is. So, do you think that this reunion that Kristen wants to host is like the worst idea ever?
I kind of wondered if like this was like a production thing.
Made her do it?
Yeah.
Like, well, got to get everybody in the same place.
And we need content for this extra episode.
One last time. Yeah, gotta fill out the season a little bit. I mean, there's definitely some pain points there between some certain people, which definitely generates some anxiety for people throughout the episode, which is real fun. So, should we revisit Stasha?
Yes, we see her mom come over to her place.
Her spotless, immaculate mental institution place. It's just very white.
Yes, it's like blinding. But Nate is not there. She has changed her hair.
Uh-oh. What is that?
Why the uh-oh?
Well, you know, when a woman changes her hair, something's up.
Well, yeah, because she has apparently asked Nate for a separation or a divorce. She's not sure. Like, I feel like that's a very definitive thing.
It's so confusing. I guess starting with separation, maybe going to divorce, but she seemed a bit confused about it herself.
Yeah, I guess they're moving at different paces. She doesn't want to be anchored down.
Yeah, and she hasn't even seen him for the 2 weeks since she like had that whole thing with him. And I guess at the time they were together at his place and he asked her to leave when she said all this stuff. So
not great. But I guess Nate had called Stasha's mom, I know, asking for advice or just, I don't know, wanting to portray that he still loves her. Yeah,
though I not a whole lot of hope there. Yeah, it can be kind of frustrating seeing these people go through this stuff. So my question for you, Christy, is have you lost hope for their relationship?
I mean, based on what we saw in this episode, yes.
Ooh.
I don't know. If you're asking for a divorce, like, that's not a good sign.
Well, she was asking for a hybrid separation divorce, okay?
That's not much better.
I mean, not really. Yeah, I just still feel like they've had such a tough time getting on the same page with how each of them move on a fundamental level. Like, she's so committed and so dedicated to steamrolling ahead at a fast pace, and then he's like there trying to move more slowly and getting triggered all the time and stuff, and it's not a particularly fun combination, and I think takes a lot of work to reconcile and is kind of easy to spiral out of control, which is what has happened here again, and poor Stasha, because she doesn't want to be divorced or single, but she doesn't want to be alone either.
Nope. They are at a crossroads.
What will happen? I'll have to ask you if you know any spoilers at the end of this episode about any of these people. All of them. All of the dirt. That's really what we all want, is to know the truth behind all of this stuff. Do you have anything else to say?
Nope. We can move on to the Mitch and Justin
meeting.
meeting.
It is really funny to me how I just completely have flip-flopped in my opinion of these two men. At the beginning of the season, I feel like I was just way harsher in my mind to Mitch and all enthusiastic about Justin. And now I'm like, Mitch, you have some serious problems, but you've made a lot of strides. You've learned a lot. You're headed in a good direction. Once you meet that woman who hates single-use plastics as much as you do, you'll be in a way better position and might one day have a successful marriage. Justin, on the other hand, kind of plummeted in my estimation throughout the season, and especially now.
Yeah, he has not looked, or at least has not been edited well in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it just has not been positive at all.
We see that he has gotten Maya back.
Well, of course. That was the first thing he did.
Oh, I know. And then they're cleaning up. I mean, how fitting.
This was very, very expected when Mitch hands Justin a trash hander, one of those little
picker-upper things.
Little claw on a stick to pick up plastic. Mitch is like, yeah, look, it becomes shiny to me. I see it everywhere. Like, ooh, there's something I'm going to go pick up. Which is very comical, but would be a little annoying if he was like that all the time.
So Mitch reveals he has moved out of his place and into a friend's place.
It's probably because he couldn't get into it anymore. There was so much random stuff around. Couldn't even open the door.
I mean, how do you... Like, the next tenant who had to deal with that?
I mean, he definitely lost his security deposit. So, yeah, he moved in with a friend since the divorce, and he's just been living life. Not really planning on replicating marriage just yet, though apparently he has asked some people out and they've turned him down.
That's unfortunate, but...
I'll be honest with you, I don't know that there are a whole lot of similar levels of DM activity as for his former wife.
No, I wouldn't think so.
All it takes is one, though.
Well, that's true. He doesn't need to be flooded.
He just needs that one perfect, barefoot, unmakeup, hair down, environmentalist woman, and he's set. So, how's Justin doing?
Well, Justin is not happy after seeing After Party. And what Alexis said about, like, it didn't manifest itself. I think that was the quote that really stuck with him.
Everything personally.
And he's also regretful that everyone saw him react in a negative way at the reunion towards Nate.
Yeah, even though he's not so, like, he's only partially sorry. Like, I feel like he's more sorry that people saw that because he still doubles down on that, like, he's not going to apologize because Nate made a pass on him.
Yeah, it's the fact that he's still like, oh, he definitely made a pass at this point is just wild.
Yeah, and just how he keeps doubling down on, like, how Alexis has just been so rude and disrespectful. And
well, she kind of has, like, revealed a lot of stuff we thought she shouldn't have.
I know, but it's still, it just doesn't strike me as a very mature response. Especially when, like, I guess I'll ask you this, because I didn't really take this that way at the time, but when she said, like, things didn't manifest themselves, like, did you take that to mean specifically that he couldn't get an erection?
Pretty much, or that they failed at making it happen somehow.
I guess I thought it was maybe more general, of just, like, both of them together kind of not being in the mood versus like a specific deficiency.
Well, I think when you combine that with all the other things she has said,
well, maybe so,
because she is, at least 3 or 4 other times she has crapped all over his sexual prowess, so to speak. So all of that combined, I'm sure, is weighing on him.
Well, he's still very angry about it, and he is over her so much and so completely. Ugh.
The next thing we see is Kristen going to Nate's apartment.
Well, before that, I just want to mention that Mitch does hope that, like, Justin and Nate don't ruin Kristen's party.
I think everyone's hoping that.
Everybody is actively like, oh man, Kristen, did you invite Justin? Okay. And then go about their day. Oh man, I really hope he doesn't fight Nate again. Oh, so awkward. But yes, Kristen and Nate.
I feel like this conversation this felt a little staged to me.
No.
Like, what was the point of this?
The point was to show that Stasha and Nate have an amazing friend in Kristen, and she wants to make sure that they stay okay. You know, because she cares about them as people individually, but she also cares about them as a couple. And so she feels like it is her mission to speak some truth into their relationship so they don't go down a bad path.
Well, I think you summed that up pretty well.
I'm saying that's what it is on the surface. Now, it is totally possible that production was like, so we need to have this arc work better, so you need to go tell Nate that what he really needs to do, instead of just being all triggered by Stasha's demands that he be vulnerable, you need to go and win her back. Grand gesture. That's what you need to do. And so she went over, and even though he's scared that she'll turn him down, he still got to do it because they have another film day.
Yep, we see.
What a great job.
So his grand gesture is painting supplies and a board, brushes.
Because I guess they were talking about painting stuff before they spiraled last time and almost divorced. And so as an olive branch, a romantic gesture, he brings over some painting supplies, yes.
So she paints the Black Sea and he paints Band-Aids.
It seemed like all he had was a couple canvases and some black paint.
Yeah, but I didn't see any other colors.
Because that was Both of theirs were just completely black. She thought his painting looked like an X, but he protested that it was 2 Band-Aids.
I mean, I guess art can be, you can interpret it however you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Nate expresses that he still has hope and wants to work things out, but he feels pressure talking about the future, wants to live more in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Which triggers.
Usually I feel like I'm on Nate's side this season, but I don't understand this not wanting to focus on the future, considering you're already married.
Wow, how dare you? How dare you say he should think about the future? I guess maybe it's a little less about the future specifically and more that for her it ends up being such a high pressure thing. And so I could see him feeling a bit like he's getting sprayed by a fire hose because she's like all about the future. So they kind of have to meld their viewpoints a little bit where they consider the future and make concrete plans, but also like not just completely be living for the future. Because that's what my observation is that like Stasha is all about the future. Like it's all about the specific goals that she has and the things to check off. And so everything else kind of seems like it's just fodder for that versus also being significant for itself.
I guess they need more of a balance then.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because they both make the opposite one freak out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So after a bunch of back and forth with some fourth wall breakage, which I enjoyed, Nate staring straight into the camera. He is like, I want to be here full time.
Yes, this was after she accused him of coming over because of production.
Oh, that was rough. It's like, I guess it's hard to trust when there's cameras around, but.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was like, well, like, what do you really believe? And she's kind of like backpedal a little bit. I'm like, no, you were here because you like want to fight for us. So, whew.
So he is going to stay the night.
Whew. Oh,
it's a big commitment.
A step in the right direction. You know, they just got to keep coming back to each other and keep fighting through their insecurities there. So in your quest to reach a Nate and Stasha conclusion, you skipped over an important section in this episode, Christy, where Miguel and Lindy start searching for a home.
I mean, sort of.
Look, they went and saw a place, okay?
It just felt...
That counts.
It didn't feel real to me.
You were just sitting here accusing all these people of doing all these things just for the cameras. Ugh.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the takeaway is that Miguel is worried about all the maintenance responsibility that comes with owning a house. Mm-hmm. So that's something they'll have to consider.
Yeah, though their ultimate conclusion was that they are going to have to fake it till they make it.
I guess.
You're just sitting here accusing everyone of being fake, just like Justin and I. Don't appreciate it. They might buy this house, okay? And they may have babies in it. So I can't believe you and your cynical ways.
I'll wait. I'll wait to see if that ends up being true.
I mean, it was literally one house that we saw them look at. So I would not be surprised if this was not the house that they bought. But Lindy in particular wants to have the house thing sorted before they start generating some crotch goblins, as it were.
I mean, I can understand that.
Yeah, well, it's probably a bit difficult to raise children in what could be a one-bedroom apartment. You know, bunk beds only get you so far.
So next we see Morgan and Ben meeting up, and I was really surprised by like how cordial and friendly these two are now. I guess time has healed the wound.
Yeah, I guess when they no longer have the pressure of kind of having to deal with each other, I think it takes a lot of the pressure off and removes a lot of the just the hostility and everything, because there isn't that pressure to be close on the marriage level, and so they can kind of be at more arm's length and be friends successfully because they're not going to be sharing as much. And both are in therapy as well, so that's good. Well, how's Morgan doing?
I mean, she seems good. They both do. I mean, she got a new job. Her Instagram says travel nurse, so that's probably working pretty well for her. Ben's gotten a promotion.
I think he was, I guess it was a promotion, but I think it was like he got a whole new job, which was better than his previous job.
Yeah.
Which is great. Gotta love the more moolah. Unplugged himself from the internet.
Probably a good thing while the season was airing.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem a bit better. A bit happier and not quite so angry.
Yep.
Which is good.
Everything is good there.
Yeah, though they're also worried that the party is going to go in a bad direction.
Everyone's on pins and needles.
I still can't believe that Justin was the one that Ben chose to share all this stuff with.
Yeah, that is a little puzzling, but
Justin.
So next we see Stasha.
You can't skip the rest of them. I mean,
what else was there?
We haven't talked about Morgan's dating life, which is basically non-existent.
I was gonna say I didn't have anything on her dating life.
Now the biggest thing was that Ben is just doing a whole lot better. You know, he's been doing therapy, and he wrote a letter to his dad on his therapist's recommendation and then burned it, and basically set the intention to no longer be affected in that same way by other people's expectations of himself, I guess. That like crippling, I have to perform to this level or else I am not worthy of love sort of deal. And yeah, I'm happy for him because he's doing so much better, and he's not married, and he's not planning on being married for quite some time. And you know, they got to box around a little bit. That was probably the funniest thing, is Morgan saying that they should have boxed while they were married.
I mean, that might have helped.
She would have beat the crap out of him. She might have killed him before they reached a better place. So I'm not sure if it really would have been a good idea. But at the end of the day, they are friends now and happier. So yes, now we can go to Stasha and Alexis. Or not Stasha.
Well, yeah, it is Stasha. Stasha brings them a pole dancing instructor.
Okay, see, I thought I was crazy. So what you're telling me is I'm not insane.
No, what did you think had happened?
Well, I just have to note that Stasha meets Alexis.
Yeah, it was Kristen and Alexis who joined her to.
So it was all three of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. I was so confused because like the conclusion of this was that Alexis and Kristen were going to go on a double date.
Yes.
Man, I got so confused. But yeah, pole dancing class at the park.
In public.
I mean, they were clothed.
Sort of.
Most.
Did you notice Alexis's outfit?
Look, she's always wearing crazy things. I do not notice her outfits anymore. It's too painful
at
for
one
me
point, it looks like her entire butt was out. Just about. I don't think she wore the right outfit for the pole dancing.
Look, I'm not surprised. She is the one who like wore that onesie thing. I don't know if you remember that. That was interesting.
I think she had a couple of onesies.
She has quite the wardrobe, to be sure. But yeah, it's
we learned Kristen's date is someone she matched with before she got married.
Hubba.
He's a lawyer. And Alexis's date is a model.
He didn't. I mean, I don't know. I guess I wasn't paying too much attention to this at the time, but I didn't think he was like a supermodel or anything when I saw him.
Just a normal looking guy.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. I don't think either of them are taking this particularly seriously. It's just a way to have some fun.
This is just for the show.
But I mean, do you have anything for Mitch's meeting?
The only thing I had was that he said seeing me at my worst is illuminating. So it seems like he has really learned a lot from this experience.
Mm-hmm. As well, he should. Because he started out real rough. And he's still pretty rough, but he was a lot rougher.
Yeah, made some improvements for sure.
Yeah, that's really it. I mean, it was just a quick little interlude with his brother and sister-in-law. But man, we are flying through this episode.
I mean, there wasn't a ton of content in this.
No,
so it kind of makes sense.
Kind of not too deep here.
So next we had the double date.
I did want to know your opinion about this, though. That's for freaking sure.
I mean, it was just awkward because like they're being filmed. It's like you got two new guys,
couple of divorcees.
Yeah, just all the dynamics working together, swirling together. Just I don't know. The conversation was a bit stilted.
Especially like when they started out with the guys like being like, yeah, like physical attraction is like super important.
I know that was strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Kristen asked her date about single-use plastics.
Yeah, basically the entire time was Kristen just confirming that this wasn't a hotter Mitch.
Mitch 2.0.
Yeah, specifically, okay, so if you get a coffee and they give you a straw, what do you do? That was funny. He's like, yeah, I use single-use plastics a lot.
Although Kristen did admit, like in her little interview, that Evan doesn't knock her socks off. So already this is just kind of a 1 or 2 date type of thing.
Yeah, I didn't think that they vibed particularly.
No, she wanted more humor from him.
Mm-hmm. Man, starting to regret dumping Mitch already.
No.
Look, he made her laugh. I mean, he made her cry. Probably as much, but he did make her laugh.
Anything else from the double date?
Not particularly. Not a whole lot happened. A lot of nothing.
So the next thing I had was Stasha and Nate are cooking dinner at his house.
Makes you cry a happy tear.
So I feel like the main point here was prepping for the big party and Nate saying he's just planning to keep his distance. He asked
From
Stasha.
Justin.
Yes. She asked, that is important. He asked for advice and Stasha just says, keep your cool and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Good advice. We don't need a blow up.
No, we don't. We don't need some good old-fashioned fisticuffs on the last episode, though it probably would have made it even more interesting. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, the gist was they're back on good terms for now. ...
So next is probably what I found the most interesting part of the episode, which is Justin and Alexis at the park. And Justin is mad. He said, you told the world I, quote unquote, couldn't get an erection, but you left out the why. And then Alexis tries to butt in and he says, shut up.
That was so rude.
And then he says the reason why I couldn't get an erection is because her pH balance was off. Which is an absolutely wild comment to make on national TV. I feel like I've said that sentence a million times with these two because they keep airing out very personal details.
What? That's a personal detail? Yeah, that was just incredibly strange. First of all, how just straight up rude he was to her. Just shut up. I'm talking. It's
That's
my
terrible.
turn to talk. But then that is such a weird excuse.
It doesn't even make sense to me. Everyone is speculating online what exactly that means.
Right. Did it just mean that she had a really smelly vagina, or
that's one of the theories, or a yeast infection, or that could be pH balance being off could result in a lot of different things. So
yeah, it's
a low blow, which I guess it's kind of a tit for tat from all the other is there a machine to help with your thrusting kind of comments. So I think Justin had enough and decided to fire back.
Yeah, neither of them had a particularly positive impression of the other's sexuality.
No.
Which is just interesting to me too, because I feel like maybe at some level they just really weren't compatible sexually.
I feel like they could have met with a sex therapist and worked things out if they really wanted to, but
I mean, you'd think, but it's he got so in his head, and so she wasn't happy with what was going on, and he wasn't happy, and whether the pH was actually bad enough to be a legitimate problem, but I feel knowing Justin, he could have just been oh well, I haven't smelled anything like this in 1.5 years because I've been celibate. This is weird. Ugh. And then because it wouldn't directly cause issues with that. It would only cause issues with that if he found it if he just thought it was gross and so he couldn't get aroused. That's the only reason it seems that would cause a problem.
I feel in my mind the only reason it would cause a problem was if his face was down there to smell it in the first place.
Okay, I don't know why we're going with this, okay?
It just didn't make sense otherwise.
I mean, maybe it was just so overpowering.
Oh no.
Look, I can't begin to know what people's situations are, okay? I'm no sexpert, okay? And I refuse to comment further.
The fact that just he's opening the door for everyone to talk about that is just so bad. And then he finishes it off with calling her a narcissist and saying that he's going to pray for her because his walk with Christ is that strong.
I know.
Like, what?
I don't know. I got the impression throughout the season that his walk with Christ was not that strong.
Especially after this conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, he basically just like ran away after that. He dropped that information and was like, boom. like literally, he just leaves her standing there, and you can still see him in the distance, like running away when Alexis calls Kristen to rant about it.
Yeah, Kristen wonders if Justin is still coming to the party.
I know. That was so, after she hears Alexis go through this stuff, she's like, so I don't want to make it about me, but do you think Justin's still coming? That was pretty funny. That went so wrong.
I know. What a disaster. These two, disaster from the beginning and even after getting divorced.
Yeah, they continue to be. I mean, I don't think it's likely that they're going to have a good relationship after this.
No, they need to cut ties, move on.
I think they are.
This was a fail.
Yeah, totally a fail.
So it is almost time for the Kristen's party. It looks like the girls kind of arrived early to the venue, or not venue, but like mansion or whatever. The
mansion that Kristen allegedly rented, but was
production
paid
I'm
for
sure.
by production. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not a ton there, just a little friendly conversation. I mean, you know, a lot of not wanting to settle in their next relationships.
Yeah, pretty standard girl talk.
Wow. I didn't know. I'm not that familiar with standard girl talk.
Well, these only exist on reality TV.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we have one section left.
The party.
This could go either way.
Well, everyone arrives, and everything is cool until Justin arrives.
Of course.
It's just awkward. He says it's a fake vibe.
Just so, like, it's so funny to me because the reason that he says that, okay, so the real reason that he says that is because, and not because it's fake and everyone's fake, but it's because everyone was having a good time until he arrived. Like, I'm not saying that to like throw down on him or anything. That's just like, it's
his perception.
Well, but it's just the reality of the situation is that him being there automatically is going to cause a bunch of anxiety because there's a bunch of tension between him and Alexis. And so that causes a lot of tension, especially since Kristen is so close to Alexis. And so you have a snowball effect with that. And then you also have the tension that's created by everyone wondering if he and Nate are going to come to blows. So, of course, he shows up. And everyone's like, oh, hi. Yeah, we're so glad to see you.
And of course, production had him arrive last for maximum drama.
Yeah, because I think even they took him aside, and a producer asked him something like, "How do you feel?" And he's like, "Yeah, this vibe is fake as if."
Oh, and side note, all throughout this episode, did you notice the terrible green screen with all of their interviews?
You got to do what you got to do, okay?
So you did notice it.
There were a couple times where I was like,
I was like, what? Why does it look like they're in a fake, like, background? There was like this weird halo around everyone.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure for certain, but
It didn't look like all the interviews we've seen during the rest of the season, though, which is why it stood out to me.
well, if they didn't have a great, like a great place to do the ITMs, then it's entirely possible that they just plopped down a green screen and went from there. Yeah. Just this was kind of awkward for me because it's like you had all this stuff going on throughout the party, and then you just have like Justin lurking in the shadows.
By himself while
And
everyone plays cornhole.
Nate lurking in the shadows to some extent as well, but mainly Justin lurking in the shadows. You know, just so weird.
I don't remember who Justin was talking to, but at one point he
Mitch.
said,
Mitch is the only one.
He said that the talk didn't go well for Alexis, but it went well for him. I kind of disagree. I feel like it went badly for both of them.
Well, that is very true. Another thing that amuses me is, so now Justin has been talking to Mitch, and given their conversations, it feels a bit like Mitch is just being diplomatic.
Yes, kind of just agreeing to
like,
keep the peace.
Like now that he knows, like I feel like maybe at the beginning of the season, Mitch would have agreed more wholeheartedly, but I feel like now Mitch is just kind of like, yeah, you're kind of crazy, but yeah, okay, yeah, I get you, yeah. It's very.
No one wants to rock the boat.
Nobody wants to make things any worse after the tumultuous season that they've all had. You don't want to do that.
So we see Mitch giving Kristen a gift.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say first, before you do that, speaking of cornhole again, Luna was messing with their game of cornhole.
I forgot about that.
It was so adorable.
Trying to pick the bag right off.
Trying to steal their bean bags. Yeah. So we can go back to Mitch and his gift.
I mean, this seemed like a nice gift. She seemed to really appreciate it.
Well, yeah, because it was like a going away present, but also, and I wasn't sure if it was the day itself, but like somewhere around here was her birthday as well.
Yeah, like a week or two before or something.
So it was sort of a combination present there. And yeah, just she couldn't even get through, like she couldn't read his card without bursting into tears, so he had to read it for her.
Yep. She also got a fanny pack and one of those like affirmation plaque sort of things.
Pretty thoughtful, Mitch.
Yep.
Too bad you didn't do stuff like that during your marriage. Too bad instead you gave her a bracelet you found on the beach. And glued some shells to stuff.
Too little too late, I suppose.
I mean, I didn't see it as an effort to get her back. It just seemed like a decent thing by a decent person who has become more decent with time. So, yeah. So, what did you think about this next bit? Because it seemed like Justin was like wasted.
I mean, he said he was a little drunk.
He looked a lot drunk.
I did notice that on the table in there was a ton of alcohol bottles. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
He seemed quite inebriated.
People on Twitter were saying his eyes looked bloodshot.
So, a lot of alcohol, maybe some
other things.
Who knows? Yeah, how did you think this conversation went?
I mean, it wasn't as disastrous as their previous one, but it was still awkward, and they're both like walking on eggshells. Like, she apologizes for what she said on After Party.
He didn't double down on the pH.
No. But Justin in his ITM doesn't really buy her apology. So I'm not sure that much was accomplished there.
No, nothing was accomplished there. Nothing whatsoever.
So then Justin wants to talk with Nate.
Oof.
So of course they did the like dun dun dun, go to commercial break, all that. But it ended up being very civil. He apologized, said, shouldn't have said you made a pass. So I don't know if he's changed his mind that Nate did make a pass, but either way he is apologizing for it.
Yeah. Yeah, Nate apologized as well.
Yep.
You know, like we're both human. We're both human.
So I suppose things are now cordial is not the right word, just like not hostile, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps he did also apologize to the group as well.
Yep, kind of went around the room.
Which here is my biggest question of the entire episode for you. Do you even buy this?
Well, like ordinarily I would have said yes, but the fact that he was so drunk kind of makes me question that.
I guess I just saw this more as I saw how I looked on After Party, and I want to go out on a better note in terms of my
save face.
In terms of my PR, because I don't think, as we've said multiple times, that he has come off well of late,
especially after the reunion taping, which was fresh on his mind.
Yeah, so I guess especially since he didn't actually apologize to Alexis.
He skipped her.
I feel like I would have perhaps bought it a bit more if he had also apologized to her. But by skipping over her, that kind of indicates to me, and I could be reading into it, but that he was going to try to save as much face as possible. So, okay, let me meet with Nate one-on-one, and I'll be the bigger man, and like I'll be like, yeah, like everything's cool, like I'm sorry, and then I'll like apologize for some of the other crap I've said to the rest of the people, but no, I can't bring myself to say anything more to Alexis.
No.
And make things, well, I was going to say right, but you can't really make things right, but like make things a little bit better. So I guess I don't really buy this as much of anything besides trying to save his self-image activity.
I think that's correct.
Maybe I'm being too harsh, but that is my hot take for the episode. Oh, wow. So I feel like we just have one thing left. Just one final conversation before the whole thing is over and the book is closed on San Diego, which is just the post-party conversation between the two besties,
Kirsten and Alexis. I guess Mitch's gift had her briefly wondering, what if I had like given this a chance outside of the 8 weeks?
And Alexis was very quick to be like, now girl, one good thing doesn't make up for all the terrible times.
Don't forget all what he put you through.
And she's like, no, I know. Yeah. It seems fitting to end with Kristen, since she's probably the best of all of them.
Yeah, probably my favorite cast member through all the seasons I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. Kristen, if you ever hear this, know that Christy is your biggest fan. This entire season, she has been rooting for you to break free.
Well, she did.
Mm-hmm.
On to bigger and better things.
To Christy's utmost satisfaction. Well, Christy, do you have any last thoughts as we close this season?
I just found it really entertaining. Liked watching it with you, recapping.
Yes, I enjoyed myself as well. We maybe lingered a little bit too long at the end.
Yeah, the ending episodes can drag a bit.
Yeah, but overall, what a solid season. You know, I think that these couples probably did as well as you can under such crazy circumstances. I mean, you didn't get anybody outright rejecting their match. I mean, you treaded a little close to that with Mitch, but for the most part, you know, things started out on a good note for people, and things went really bad along the way, obviously.
As they always do.
But that's that's just married at first sight.
We have 2 marriages at the moment. I looked on all their social medias. Nobody has said anything.
Oh, wow.
Lindy or Miguel or Stasha or Nate about what the status is.
They're staying mum, huh?
Unless somebody said something in the last hour, but I didn't see. Stasha's talking about releasing all these like DIY home improvement stuff on her YouTube channel.
That's right. I forgot that she has a YouTube channel.
I think Nate also mentioned he would be doing stuff on his YouTube channel.
Man, I have not looked at his YouTube channel since like the second week, maybe even the first week. I hope he has improved since then. That's all I'm gonna say.
So yeah, I don't know what the status is for either one of those 2 couples.
Okay. Well, you know, that's the joy of doing a podcast that releases episodes over time. If we hear anything crazy, we'll just bring it up on a later episode in a later season.
Yep.
That's just how things go.
I'm sure if they post something, I'll share it on Instagram or whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Christy has to do that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She is our social media manager and does a great job at it. So January is the next season, which is Married at First Sight Nashville.
Yep. Music City.
That should be interesting. I could see a lot of big personalities coming through on Married at First Sight Nashville.
Yep. I mean, they've already released the cast photos or whatever from the weddings.
A little bit of a teaser, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Promo,
yeah, I think we
something
saw
like
one.
that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Christy, how can people get in contact with us?
You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at groupdatespod.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We will stick around for sure. Thanks for listening, everybody. We've had such a fun season and are looking forward to the next one.
Can't wait.